All right, good morning everyone. Welcome to the webinar. I'm Claire Eleanor and with me is Archon Betty and we're both marketing consultants here at Concentrate. Today we're going to be talking about content marketing for Kiwi Tech companies. Just a little bit of housekeeping first. At any time if you've got any questions, please just type them into the text box in the GoToWebinar panel on the right of your screen and we'll try and answer all of them at the end. If we're unable to answer them during the webinar, we'll get in touch with you over email. Also, don't worry about taking too many notes as you'll receive a copy of the presentation afterwards. This should take about 15 to 20 minutes and will allow for some time for questions at the end. So, just a little bit about us first. Concentrate is a boutique strategy consulting and marketing execution agency, and we work exclusively for Kiwi technology companies who are looking to sell their products and services domestically and for export markets. Although we will be talking about content marketing best practices in the arena, do bear in mind that our perspective comes from our engagement in the B2B tech sector.
Good morning, everybody. This is Achan, and we're going to straight away jump into inbound versus outbound. We're talking about content marketing today. And before we do that, it's important to make a distinction between when you hear us or anybody out there speak something about inbound marketing, it might get confusing and be like, what's that? But it's nothing that most people don't already know about. It's let's look at the next slide. Outbound is what you traditionally expect marketing to do, which is to be doing cold calling, and this is again in a B2B context. So you're sending out batch emails and you're putting out ads, whether online or offline. But all of those actions are pushed out from the marketing team. We're trying to present a perspective where we're asking your leads to come to you. And you're doing that by creating something of value to your leads, and they're coming to your website and converting on a forms, and the transaction is you giving them, or you meaning the marketer or the business that's doing the marketing, providing something, and in return you're receiving their contact details and the permission for you to contact them.
So to successfully deliver content marketing, we need to understand who we're speaking with. That's the target audience. B2B marketing, business to business, doesn't actually exist. Even when selling to a business, you're still targeting a person. Understanding their pain points, their everyday related challenges will help you develop valuable content for them. So defining a persona represents a hypothetical ideal customer. They're a personification of the sort of person you're selling to. By defining this or these, you might have multiple, you're helping to understand the challenges your audience has that you're trying to solve with your product. So this seems rather an academic exercise, but once you've done this, it actually flows through to every aspect of your marketing and makes it a lot easier to write content for that persona. So when you're building a persona, what do you actually want to know about them? Well, you want to know what their challenges are, what their goals are, their habits, where they hang out online or do they even check their emails, and also demographic traits, so what's their job role, whereabouts in the country do they come from, those sort of things. I've got their develop negative personas. So negative personas are actually a good practice as they help you to identify content you don't need to be developing and the people you can exclude from marketing. For example, this might be your competition, or if you're targeting a CIO, a payroll assistant might be someone that you aren't actually interested in.
Looking at just the buyer's journey, and it's nothing new. It's again something all marketers would have read in Marketing 101, and looking at the old IDA model, which was awareness, interest, desire, and action. And we're just breaking that down into this stage here where the lead first comes to your website and they're probably just doing the research and trying to understand what their problem is, and if there exists a solution out there. And then we move to the consideration stage, which is again about interest and desire, and to say that, okay, they've done their research, they probably know um, the variety of solutions that are on offer, and the last stage is where they're probably going to be evaluating multiple options to decide which one they're going to buy and go with. Um, and if we break that down again into the different funnel stages, it's the learner's awareness stage, which is at the top of the funnel. Middle of the funnel is when they're a shopper or they're considering buying, and then in the sales funnel is where they're going to make the decision, which is at the bottom of the funnel for the sales team. Next, we're talking about what is at the heart of content marketing, which is compelling content. Claire?
Yeah, and this actually comes in many different forms and can have greatly varied purposes. Archon talked before about the buyer's journey, and if we just go to the next slide, here we've got a diagram which can help you to map the content to the stages in the buyer's journey. So, for example, a white paper, or an ebook would be more suitable to someone who is at the awareness stage of the buyer's journey. Whereas if you look down the other end, a free demo or a product brochure would sit with someone who's more at the decision stage of the buyer's journey. So these are your anchor piece of content. They are what you build your campaigns around. And for those anchor pieces of content, it doesn't actually matter about the length. It's more about the value that it provides the reader. It should align to your business while directly addressing the challenge that your audience is facing. A great piece of content comes down to being targeted to the right persona at the right point in the buyer's journey. So over to the right is an example of an content we helped produce for a quality assurance client of ours, Quality. We conducted a study of their customers and produced this report on the state of digital in New Zealand IT. This is an example of an awareness piece of content targeting the persona of CIOs. So if we go through, here's an example of a white paper which would sit down at the awareness stage. And then the next one is an ebook, which is actually also down the awareness stage as well. But then as we move further through, this ROI tool from Pivot is actually more down at the decision stage. It's getting people directly engaged with your company. And then a case study is also sitting down the further end of the diagram.
Thanks, Claire. I just wanted to quickly go back and because I really like the ROI example that we've shared here. And when your lead is considering different solutions to the problem, you're also wanting to help them create a business case themselves that will, because the people that you're dealing with on your website are not all the people who are going to be signing on the check. There are a lot of influencers, decision makers that you want to be talking to. So Pivot Software is a company that sells remuneration and performance management software, really technical, really focused on the user, which is the HR person in a company. But the HR person isn't the person who buys the software. So they created a tool here, Pivot created a tool, which allows the HR manager, which is the influencer, to create a business case and present it to the CEO or the CFO to say, hey, if we use this software, then it's going to save a lot of expense in the HR department, and just helping them create a business case to buy Pivot's product, basically. So once you have all that content ready, how do you go about sharing it, publishing it, and getting leads to convert? The number one, the most basic idea is to have the forms on your website. Use these forms as best as you can, which allows you to know who is actually viewing that content. At the conversion stage, you're asking them a few questions that help you identify their needs and who those people are, and begin a conversation with them. And it also reinforces the value of the content you're giving them. So this is like a typical landing page from Orcom, another company in Christchurch that we work with, and they manufacture really technical industrial products. But what they're offering here is a free white paper for the people in the industry to download and understand what the implications for motor control are in their specific environments. Again, referring back to Quality, this is a Wellington-based, well, pan-New Zealand company, and again, they're using their website as a lead generation engine. They've spread these call to action buttons across the website, and which is basically driving traffic to the landing page where there exists a form where they can download a white paper and share their details and begin their conversation with Quality.
So another way to promote your content is actually through social media. It's a fantastic platform for reaching a whole lot of new people that you don't actually already have conversations going with. Depending on your particular audience, your social platforms will differ, but for us, LinkedIn and Twitter work really well, particularly LinkedIn groups where you post a message into them and it's a way to reach the inboxes of people you don't actually already know. The key to social media promotion is to promote your content rather than your business. So you can see over to the right here a few examples that Quality have done, posting to their own LinkedIn profiles, posting into groups. There's one for CDC there, and also for Twitter, and they're all promoting pieces of content rather than driving people to look at their services. So usually companies also have huge databases of contacts that they never actually use. They collect them and then they just sit there. So leveraging these by emailing content promotions through is a really good way to get engagements. The more personal the email seems, the better the engagement you're going to get. Gone are the days of highly designed banner-filled emails. Nowadays, making it look like a personal email from Outlook is the best way to get through. It's also important to consider the networks that you actually have available. You know, are you a member of a local tech group, an industry association, anything like that? Get in contact with them to see if there's a way that you can utilize their database as well.
Thanks, Claire. The beauty of using content marketing with all the digital tools that are now available to marketers is that we can measure and prove the success of everything that we do with our marketing efforts. We don't just spend a lot of money on PR or just publish a magazine ad and then just don't know what happened with it. Because you're investing in your content marketing and your website, examples is like the first and most free tool out there is the Google Analytics tool, where you're just measuring where the traffic is coming from or how many visits. So that's like a very basic vanilla metric to measure the success of your marketing. But again, pure website visits is not helping the bottom line. What's helping the bottom line is how many new leads are coming through. And that's where other marketing automation tools come in, or whatever form tool that you're using. So you're measuring how many new people came through the system in the past month. And if there were 30 new leads, which of them are quality leads? Are they actually based in the industry that we're looking at? What are the different pages they're looking at? What is the content that we're publishing on our website, which is most popular? And on the right, on the bottom, there's like a little marketing dashboard that we use here, which is just doing a conversion ratio to see, okay, for the year we get like around 12,000 visits, and we created 340 new leads that we didn't know before. And of them, we had 30 new customers. So you can start to see what conversion ratios you've got and to see whether you're benchmarked against the best in the industry. Do you want to improve that? Are you doing quite well in terms of the visits to new leads to customers ratios? And this is an example from our own form on the website. We're offering a report that looks into the marketing efforts of New Zealand technology companies, which we published last year. And using this form, and HubSpot is a marketing automation tool that we use behind. So we have a list going in the background which says, show me all the people who've downloaded this report. And so far you can see that we have about 500 people who downloaded this report from a variety of industries, all within the technology sector across the country. And most of them are elite, but some of them we've had conversations with and they've qualified to be a marketing qualified or a sales qualified lead. And the form gives us the opportunity to re-engage with people who might not be ready right now to buy into, say, concentrate services, but it gives us the opportunity to re-engage with them at a later stage.
Yeah, as Archon just mentioned there with re-engaging, you quite often find that your first engagement isn't going to be the one that sells your product. Sometimes you need to engage with people 12 times, 20 times. So being able to go back and re-engage with them with new pieces of content or new campaigns is really key to actually driving those sales and pushing them further down the sales funnel.
And we're looking at the just conversion ratios in more detail. In any case, if there were people out there who are still doubting the effectiveness of social media, I love sharing this slide with them. And what we're showing here is the number of visits that come through from each source this is for a month, I think, and the number of contacts you can get through. So you can see that the conversion ratio is about 5.5% for social media, which is highest across all those media. So if you were to think about where you wanted to invest your energies on, even within different digital platforms, you can see that social media works really well, especially within the B2B context. So that was really a very high-level, quick overview of content marketing and the tools that are out there at your fingertips. We just wanted to check if there were any questions so far. Looks like we're pretty happy. So yeah, that was us, and here are our contact details. Please feel free to write in to us if you have any specific questions about your business. I see the number of people from a variety of industries attending today's webinar. And all of you will receive a copy of this presentation, a link to the recording of the webinar. And thank you so much for joining us today. We will let you know when we have a next webinar scheduled. And till later. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. We just got a late question through, and somebody's asking, what are your thoughts on whether content should be gated or not? The question is relative again. There's no one answer to it. It's about how much value you think you're giving to your audience. So, for example, for a few of our clients, if they have invested a lot and they've produced a 20-page ebook or a white paper that is really grunty, has a lot of insights into it, then you would definitely want to gate it. But if we're writing things like, say, a blog that's just presenting your view about it, or you're talking about a product brochure, a lot of our clients have specification sheets for whatever complex programs or solutions they're selling. Those aren't some things that you would want to gate. You would want to provide that for free, but it's about how much effort you've invested yourself and how much value you think it is for your audience.
It definitely goes two ways, because at the same time you don't want to miss the people that are coming through and actually engaging with you, but you do have to be careful that they would see value in it. People aren't just going to hand over their email address knowing that they will be contacted again and again if they don't see value in what's on the other side. But yeah, you also don't want to miss out on those people coming through. So it's a fine balance and takes a bit of thought. But yeah, Archon explained that pretty well.
Thanks, Claire, and thanks everybody for attending today's webinar. Please feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn or over email.
Yeah, please email through any other questions you've got. We'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks. Bye for now.
Bye.